Welcome to the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast with your host Vinutha Mohan. In this episode, we explore the importance of using our discernment in choosing what information we consume and the impact of psychic viruses on our nervous system. In ancient civilizations, a sorcerer was someone who knew how to connect to the power of divine source through the power of intent. Unfortunately, in later civilizations, this meaning was lost and replaced by negative connotations, referring to a sorcerer as a practitioner of the dark arts. Buddha said that karma was attached to intent, not outcomes. So, wholesome intentions brought about good karma and vice versa. The stronger our intention, the faster we will manifest our choices. However, the consequences of our choices depends on the source to which we connect our intention. The ultimate source is all-encompassing love. But one step removed, source can be split into two primary forces, fear and love. All of the rest of our emotions generally will fall into one or the other category. For example, greed, lust, possessiveness, frustration, manipulation, and so on arise from the source of fear. On the other hand, joy, acceptance, compassion, kindness, and such arise from the source of love. In our everyday lives, it is very important to keep this concept in mind. The source from which we birth our intention will determine the quality of the choices we make and the resulting consequences. In the end, our life is nothing but a sum total of all the choices we make moment by moment. Choices made from a source of fear in our careers, parenting, relationships, marriages will often backfire and result in our suffering. Choices made from a source of love will end up leading us to peace in the long run. There is nothing mystical or voodoo about this, even though I could give you those reasons as well. It is simple neuroscience. When we connect to the source of fear, we are triggering our amygdala or the alarm bell in our brain. This triggers our reptilian survival strategies of fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or faint. This in turn activates the survival archetypal energies in us: the child, the victim, the addict, the saboteur, the perfectionist, the control freak, and so on. When these archetypal forces make decisions, they tend to be conditioned by maladaptive belief systems, and we end up making poor choices. On the other hand, when we connect to the source of love, our brains are in a neutral state of peace and calm, thereby giving us access to the whole mind solutions. Such solutions are balanced, pragmatic, and wise brain choices. Therefore, it is very important for us in our daily life to constantly source check ourselves the way a brilliant investigative journalist might fact check their source of information. Sometimes the differences are very subtle. For instance, when we eat only organic foods because we are afraid that we might get cancer otherwise, the intention is born from a source of fear, even though the actions may appear wholesome. On the other hand, if we can reframe this intention to say that I want to eat healthy because my body is the temple that houses my spirit, my soul, and I love myself, then the same actions are coming from a source of love and become wholesome in body and spirit. Mother Teresa very much supported this viewpoint. I read once that when someone invited her to join the march for fight against cancer, she politely declined, saying that she was not against anything. However, she added, if you have a march supporting a cure for cancer, I am happy to join you. As we all navigate these very challenging and painful times in our nation and our world at large, we are bombarded with so much information through various media outlets on a daily basis. For our own well-being, it's imperative to check the source of intention from which such information is born. Information that is born from a source of fear with a malintention to spread dark energies becomes psychic viruses that affect our nervous system just as powerfully as a biological virus. People who spread such psychic viruses on social media platforms are our modern day spellcasters. These days, we all suffer from information overload through news channels, Meta, X, YouTube, Instagram Reels, TikTok, podcasts, blogs, and the darknet. If we are not careful in discerning the source from which any such information comes from and its intention, we can become susceptible to modern day spell casting and its consequences on our psychic nervous system. A quick check on how your body feels after listening to a podcast, watching an Instagram reel, or watching the evening news will tell you whether your body found the content wholesome or unwholesome. The body is infinitely wiser than the mind and thrives on wholesome truths. Our left brains can be the biggest bullshitters, rationalizing away anything, but our body thrives on truth. So make your body your ally. Let your intellect befriend your body, and together let them discern what is in your highest good. That is the sorcerer's magic. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wild Crone Wisdom with your host, Vinutha Mohan. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist from the Bay Area, California, specializing in trauma and attachment repair. I'm also a certified EMDR specialist and a certified shamanic practitioner. In this podcast series, we delve into the journey of our spiritual essence having a human experience. While many social scientists study human emotions, thoughts, and behaviors, and others explore transcendental experiences, few bridge the gap to help embody the spiritual wisdom in everyday life. I call this the psycho-spiritual path. Through this podcast, I hope to share bite-sized practical insights for navigating life as an empowered sovereign being. If you found this episode valuable, we'd greatly appreciate your support. Please consider rating, reviewing, commenting, and subscribing on your podcast platform to help us reach a wider audience. You can explore more of my writings on Medium by following the link in the show notes. We'd also love to hear about your experience, so feel free to share your thoughts with us at Wild Crone Wisdom Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you for being part of our journey. Please be advised, the information provided in the Wild Crone Wisdom podcast is intended for general information purposes only. Vinutha Mohan is a licensed therapist and healer. However, the content shared in this podcast does not replace or constitute professional advice, therapy, or counseling. It is essential to consult with a qualified mental health professional for personalized guidance regarding your unique circumstances. Thank you.